I entered the quaint little barber shop on the corner of Elm Street, my heart pounding with anticipation and a twinge of unease. The air was heavy with the scent of shaving cream and hair tonic, and the soft hum of a vintage radio filled the room. The barber, an elderly man with a graying beard and piercing eyes, motioned for me to take a seat in the worn leather chair. As he draped the barber's cape around my shoulders, I couldn't help but notice the strange paintings adorning the walls. They depicted grotesque scenes of people in agony, their faces contorted in pain. I tried to shake off the unsettling feeling that crept up my spine. The barber began his work, his hands gliding effortlessly over my scalp. But as I closed my eyes, I felt a sharp pain shoot through my head. I winced, but when I opened my eyes, I saw nothing out of the ordinary. Perhaps it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. As the minutes turned into hours, the room seemed to grow darker, the shadows lengthening and enveloping us. I could hear whispers, faint voices that seemed to come from all directions. The barber's touch became rougher, his grip tightening on my hair. I tried to speak, but my voice was trapped in my throat. Suddenly, I felt a searing pain on my scalp, as if the barber's scissors were tearing through my flesh. I screamed, but the sound was drowned out by the chorus of agonized voices that filled the room. Blood dripped down my face, staining the pristine white cape. I tried to run, to escape this nightmarish place, but my body was frozen in the chair. The barber's eyes glowed with an otherworldly light as he continued to cut, his hands moving faster and faster. The pain was unbearable, my vision blurred with tears. Just as I thought I couldn't take it any longer, everything stopped. The room fell silent, the shadows receded, and the barber's grip loosened. I stumbled out of the chair, bloodied and shaken, but alive. As I looked back at the barber shop, it appeared just as it did before, innocent and inviting, but I knew the truth. The mysterious barber shop was a gateway to a realm of torment and suffering. Its walls held the echoes of tortured souls, trapped in an eternal cycle of pain. And now, I was forever marked by their torment, a cautionary tale for those who dared to step foot inside. The town had always whispered about the enigmatic barbershop that stood nestled between two dilapidated buildings. The stories that circulated about the place made even the bravest souls shiver. One gloomy evening, driven by an odd mixture of curiosity and foolishness, I stepped into the shop. The doorbell jingled faintly as I entered, and a gust of cold air brushed past me. The interior was dimly lit, the walls adorned with antique mirrors that seemed to reflect distorted images. The barber, an elderly man with a hunched back and thinning hair, motioned me to the chair. He never spoke, only stared intently into the mirror in front of me. I hesitated, but something compelled me to sit down. As he draped the cape over me, I couldn't help but notice how peculiarly sharp the blades on the counter glinted. With each snip, the man's gaze seemed to penetrate deeper, unsettling me. As he worked, I caught fleeting glimpses of figures moving in the shadows just beyond my peripheral vision. Whispers filled the air, voices so hushed and muffled that I couldn't make out the words. The sensation of being watched intensified, and my heart raced. I mustered the courage to ask, "What's with the whispers? And who are those figures?" The barber's lips curled into a chilling smile. "They're the ones who couldn't leave, trapped between this world and the next," he whispered. His eyes locked onto mine through the mirror. "And as for the whispers, well, they hold the secrets of this place." As if on cue, the mirrors began to ripple like water, distorting my reflection. I saw myself aging, withering away, and then, the mirror showed something else entirely. A scene of torment and despair, as if the shop had witnessed countless tragedies over the years. A cold sweat trickled down my back as I realized that this barbershop wasn't just a place for haircuts, it was a nexus of lost souls and forgotten tales. The barber continued his work, seemingly unaffected by the unsettling events surrounding us. I needed to leave, to escape this macabre realm, but my body felt heavy, trapped in the chair. I pleaded with the barber to stop, my voice trembling. He merely shook his head and kept cutting. With a sudden surge of adrenaline, I managed to wrench myself free and stumbled towards the door. The whispers grew louder, more desperate, as if angered by my escape. The door slammed shut behind me, the jingle of the bell mocking me. I never returned to that barbershop again, but the memories of that haunting experience never left me. I walked down the dimly lit street, my footsteps echoing against the empty buildings. I approached the newly opened barbershop. Its worn-out sign swung in the breeze, inviting customers to step inside. I pushed the door open. A musty smell filled the air as I entered the shop. The dim lighting gave the place an eerie ambience. The walls were lined with antique mirrors, reflecting distorted images of myself. The barber, a tall and gaunt figure, stood behind the counter, his eyes piercing through me. I took a seat in the worn-out barber chair, feeling its cold leather against my skin. The barber's hands were unnaturally cold as he draped a musty-smelling cloth around my neck. As he began to work, I noticed the strange assortment of tools on the counter, an array of rusty scissors and old-fashioned straight razors. Each one seemed to hold a dark secret. The barber's hands moved with precision, but there was something off about his technique. The cutting sensation turned from gentle touches to painful tugs. I winced as a sharp pain shot through my scalp. I looked up into the mirror, expecting to see blood, but instead, I saw a twisted grin on the barber's face. Fear gripped me as I realized I was trapped in the chair. The barber's hands seemed to have a life of their own, moving faster and faster, cutting deeper into my scalp. I screamed for help, but the sound was swallowed by the eerie silence of the shop. As the pain intensified, I noticed a strange change in the barber's appearance. His face morphed before my eyes, becoming more grotesque with each passing second. His eyes turned blood red, and his skin stretched tightly over his bones. I was trapped in a nightmare created by the barber himself. In a desperate attempt to escape, I mustered all my strength and pushed myself out of the chair. The barber lunged towards me, his bony fingers outstretched. I stumbled backward, knocking over a shelf of antique bottles. The shop erupted in a cloud of dust and shattered glass, providing me with a momentary distraction. I sprinted towards the door, my heart pounding in my chest. As I reached for the handle, I felt a cold grip on my shoulder. I turned around to see the barber, his twisted grin wider than ever. I screamed and pushed him away. Finally breaking free, I stumbled out onto the street, gasping for breath. The barbershop's door slammed shut behind me, sealing away the horrors I had just witnessed. The street was once again empty and silent, as if the nightmare had never occurred. The newly opened barbershop turned out to be a place of nightmares.